What's going on?
Oh, not much. I guess I've just settled back into work. I've been working pretty hard recently, actually. So I guess making the Olympics was pretty good for marketing for work. So I've been able to get my patient load up a bit and yeah, contribute a bit more to the community, I guess, which is nice.
You still got people coming to see you, even with that mustache, have you?
Yeah, yeah. I guess the squad's doing the good thing and doing the Movember thing. So I'm probably doing enough fundraising at the moment with a few other companies, but I grow it to like raise awareness and kind of spread the nice message, which I think is a good thing this time of year.
Yeah,
You'll
nice,
never
bro.
see me without it though. I shaved this for my chin, but I said you can't pay me to shave my actual mustache.
Dude, I saw a photo of Adam Diddick on Instagram the other day. He took a selfie. I reckon it suits him. I feel like you guys are pulling. I look like an idiot. Like I have like that 3 o'clock shadow. You know when you just haven't shaved for a few days. It's seriously the only part of my face I can get anything going is like just above the upper lip, and
Yeah, or maybe it was meant to be then.
I've never been complimented for it. So you're
Yeah,
probably a better
yeah.
bloke than me, and doing the right thing for November. I'm too vain.
Yeah, I guess it's less of a risk for me because I probably rock it most of the year around anyway. So people just learn for it to be like this. Actually, what was pretty cute actually, so I did these Colesville athletics visits for Athletics Australia, and Coles of course, and I went to Tea Tree Gully little athletics centre over here in SA, and they all drew mustaches on to look like me. I thought that was pretty cute.
That's when you know, yeah. See, no one that I've known with young kids have ever drawn a mustache to celebrate my arrival. So it's probably not enough going in
Yeah,
my
they're all
favor.
they're all hiding the kids away when you're rocking up with the mustache.
Correct. Especially with this shirt and my wide rim glasses when I wear them. And yeah, it causes more questions to be asked than anything. But dude, it's been a while. I had Jess on here the other day. I don't know if you saw, and we were talking about you. And
Yeah,
she goes, mate, I was actually thinking about shooting you another message, and we got talking about you during the podcast, and I was like, all right, I gotta reach out to the great man because, mate, there's been plenty going on since last time we chatted. But wait, most impressive before we get to probably the real impressive stuff, was your pacing for Jess. What a bloody good pacemaker. If I had known you could pace someone around for a 2:25 marathon, I would have tried to jump on board.
yeah. I guess it's hard to get everyone over there at the moment though. Like Perth are pretty strict on the whole border, so I guess it's tough for you guys being in Victoria. But yeah, I guess it's something that I'd never really dabbled in ever, like running. I guess nearly 2 hours at a pretty brisk pace. So I had no idea how it went, but like she was awesome too. Like I think she gave me a lot of confidence to just trust myself too. Like I remember warming up with her the day before, and I said, look, don't worry about being rude to me. Like if I'm off pace, just yell at me. Just
Yeah.
say faster, slower, whatever. And I think she might have mentioned as well. She was saying like she was like quite relaxed having like me over there, and it's a whole learning experience in itself. So I think we kind of like really fed off each other in that regard, and I think that helped both of us like have really good results. Me for dragging her through, and then her like executing it as well. It all worked really well in the end.
Did you hit 30K?
Yeah, I did. So I got to 32.4K. Yeah,
Oh
just
wow.
past 20 mile. Yeah, I was hoping to get so the original plan was at least 25, and then I kind of thought, well, I'll get to 30. I'll push it out to 30 and like kind of maximum 35, but like again, I never, it's a completely different kind of fatigue that I'd never experienced before. I remember I said to her at about 20, 26K. I was like to her, no, I'm feeling good. I'll get you to at least 30. And I remember about 28K just started really creeping up on me. And I was like, oh, gee, I've spoken a bit soon here.
Man, I know the exact feeling. I can't remember if I told you last time I had you on, but with I've only ever done one marathon, and with that one marathon, I had my dad at the 21K, and I went through in. It was way faster than it should have been. I like based on my fitness at the time, it was. I think I went through in 119, and I was like, mate,
Yeah,
I
okay.
think this is my career back on track. I'm going to come home negative split and run 2:35, and people are going to be like, so Tice was just a marathon runner, and no one realized. And man, no kidding. I got to even 24K. I was like, I'm good. And then 25K, something in my body just went, nah, all right, you're done, pack up. And I just could not get the body to function. You're right. You nailed it when you said it's just a completely different kind of fatigue, isn't it? Because what kind of, when you're doing long runs, what kind of distance are you hitting are you doing 2 hours when you're doing your long runs through the year?
Yeah, so I'll probably get them up to 30K, but I mean, they're just so much slower.
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing them at like 4:15. Like maybe we'll throw a pickup in there sometimes, but like even with the pickup, the whole average of the run's still like 350. So like 326s for 32 and a half. So like just a completely different beast. I probably like reckon it's more of a similar feel. It's like a really long tempo run. So like I don't do them as much anymore, but like sometimes I do 40-minute tempo runs. And I guess like you've got a lot less cotton wool around you for them. So you're getting like no drinks handed to you, you're getting no like gels handed to you, and there's no amp of the race. So it kind of feels like it's a similar fatigue to that, just obviously a whole lot more.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's a crazy event. So you didn't adjust your training or anything for that specifically. That was just thrown in as part of your training.
Oh no, like we did a little bit. Like not heaps. I probably did like 2 or 3 sessions with Jess, just to kind of like practice running harder for longer, and probably more than anything, settling into her pace and learning what 326 felt like. Like I just never do stuff at 326s. It's a bit of like a dead zone for me. Like we have like jogging and then steady. Like sometimes we'll do like steady-ish, but that's like 330 to 340, and then kind of from there, like the next kind of zone we use a lot is 315 or faster. So we never really dabble in that 326. So more than anything, it was just practice pacing her for a couple of sessions and learning, I guess, what it feels like to be out there running relatively hard for a relatively long time.
Yeah, she was telling me about some session she did, which was like, I think it was 3x5K at her goal marathon pace. Were you in that one with her?
Yeah. So that's probably the main one that springs to mind. And I did a couple of like tempo-y, but like long tempo like type stuff. But yeah, that's the one that springs to mind that we really practice like what we're going to be doing on race day, that one.
Yeah, man, how crazy is it? I remember I can't remember what's the name of the place. Me and you, I reckon it was the last time we ran together. Actually, I think it was when I was training for that marathon no, it was after that. I was planning to do like the 2021 before Victoria turned
Is
into
it a
the
Yarra
dream.
Bend? And
Yes.
we had all those people. Yeah.
And we were ticking along at like a pretty nice pace. I remember like the pace we're running at, I was looking at my watch going, all right, this is my goal marathon pace. And you were talking about, I think, I don't know if I'm making this up, but I think around that time you were sort of planning on heading over to South Australia. It's crazy how much has sort of come together for not just you, but like the group over there. I was looking at, is it Caitlin? And I was looking at Isaac.
Yeah.
Obviously yourself and Jess, and I'm sure there's plenty of names I'm missing, but mate, you guys are rocking and rolling.
Yeah, like I mean, we've been extremely fortunate. I guess that South Australia is obviously a much smaller place than the East Coast where most people are, so we've kind of avoided a lot of like lockdowns and restrictions and stuff like that, which in one sense obviously gives you the obvious that we have more racing, but I think too as well has allowed us to really just focus on training and learning the group more, learning to train and utilize the group more. And then that's really shown, I think, recently now, like that everything's starting to open back up, and you're seeing guys like Isaac go to Bernie 10 and just like tower everyone up. I think that the gains we've been able to make by just like learning all those things and refining a lot, I think are now really starting to show, which is great.
Yeah, he's rocking, man. What is he, 21?
21, yeah. He's going to be a star, I reckon.
Dude, get stuck into him, because we've been trying to organise a podcast, and he's famous now, so he can't come on.
He's a busy guy as well. Like, to his credit, he's like nailing all these races. He's smashing me in training, and on top of that too, he's doing a physio degree. He's on placement at the moment, and he works at the running company as well. So he has a lot on his, he's been living out the last few years. So he's got a lot on his plate for such a young guy. So it's pretty amazing to see him juggle all that and still get the results he's getting.
Yeah, man, it is insane. It's weird. I don't know how you find this. Like, obviously, you said you're pretty busy at the clinic at the moment, but it is interesting just watching the ways that different people respond to like different levels of busyness in their life. I know I'm the kind of guy, I feel the busier I am, the more I get done. It's like I was a shocker at uni. I always laugh with one of my best mates over here because obviously you have one class and you'd go to your class sometimes. Well, this is me. I'm not putting words in your mouth. You're much more qualified than I was. And then like your only other job for the day was go to the shops and then go for a run. And for me, if I wasn't busy, going to the shops was like the hardest task of my day. But if I had to be up at like 8 and it was just like bang, 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 I seem to find that nice level of flow. So it sounds like he's tapped into something pretty nicely there. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that because I sent him a couple of Instagram messages and I was like, mate, like, I wish you could hear my tone of voice. I'm a lovely guy. You really just want to come and chat. He's like, sorry, mate, we'll try again next week.
Yeah, no, he's a real busy guy. I think I remember when I was at uni too. So podiatry is a similar kind of vibe course as physio, and I remember being a lot tougher than things are now that I'm finished. You know, like I think it's tough. Like when you're at uni, you're balancing uni, work, and running. I think it's really hard to do all three of them well, but I think it's very achievable to tick two of them well. So whether that just be uni and running, if you know you're good enough to be professional, or if like you're fortunate enough to have a situation where someone's supporting you, or if it's just work and running, I think that's achievable as well. But I think the combination of three, you have to work really hard to find that real sweet spot. I think it's achievable. Like, I mean, Isaac's showing that at the moment, but it's just tricky. You've got a smaller sweet spot. So I'm finding, like, even though I'm busy in the clinic in my life, it's a lot easier than when I was at uni.
Is that right? Are you full time at the clinic or are you working part time?
So I'm more part time. Probably do about 25. I actually had to work it out just before when I was redoing my registration. I think I work about 25 to 30 hours a week. So
okay, so still a solid amount.
Yeah.
What does that work out to? How many is that? Is it like 6 hours each workday sort of thing, or is that like 8 or 9 hours 3 days a week that you're doing?
What do I do? So I do Mondays a really short day. I just do like the morning. Tuesday I get off. Wednesday I do a full day and it's really long. I go rurally for that one. So I'm 8:30 to about 5:30, but I'm also got an hour drive on each end of that. And then Thursday I am in the morning, but a touch later than Monday. So I go to like early afternoon. Friday I do the whole afternoon, like after training, and then I do alternating Saturday mornings with Nick.
Oh yeah, that's good. So you just do the
summer work week.
Yeah. Are you guys doing a 3-session week? Do you usually have a session?
No, we're doing 2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're just doing 2, which I think works perfectly. Like I think it gives you, again, with that whole sweet spot thing, it gives you a bit more wiggle room, which is really nice. So you know, like sometimes I guess you get a bit carried away at training and you push a bit too hard, and it's easier to, I guess, save yourself when you've got 2 days recovery instead of 1 day recovery between you. It's a real, and again, I think you can do 3 sessions a week. You just have to be like very, very controlled and make sure you're not getting carried away at all, because it's easy to dig yourself a hole.
Yeah. So that third session, not that session, that third day, is that almost like a lighter tempo run, or is that just another? Are you sort of doing 2 pretty solid days and 5 fairly easy days? I know long runs are a funny one because it's easy.
The sessions are pretty solid. Yes, we do Tuesday, Friday as our session.
Oh yeah.
And we probably have increased their size and capacity, both in intensity a little bit and in like duration as well. Sometimes like they blow out to like 12Ks worth of work. But sometimes as well, if the sessions haven't been too bad, we'll throw in a bit of a pickup on our Sunday as well. But we just kind of leave that there as a bit of a not a overly consistent thing in our program all the time, because again, like people sometimes race on a Saturday, so we'll take that pickup off on Sunday if we need it. And again, if we've had like a huge session on Friday, we'll just be digging ourselves a hole by doing that pickup. So it's kind of there if we want it, but it's not something that we constantly put in all the time.
Yeah, sure. What kind of pace are you rocking around on your Sunday runs?
So it's pretty cruisy. Like we probably go like 4:20s, it depends a little bit where we go, like just 4:20s, 4:30s, maybe 4:15s. The pickups we get rolling a bit. I think our last pickups we're getting down to 3:06 pace.
Oh bloody hell. What is that
Yeah.
the last, like how many Ks? Is it like the last?
So last time we did 3x2K, 1K float, kind of like near the end. Like we had like 15 minutes left over, so we just finished off the long run. But yeah, we had 3x2K with 1K float in between. I think the first ones were at probably, what were they? I think just under 3:10s. Second ones were about a touch faster again, like 3:38, 3:07, and then yeah, the last ones were worked down to about 3:06.
Man, that's not mucking around. That's good. So is that pretty much the whole? Obviously, the whole group's not able to keep up that one pace, but pretty much everyone runs to.
The guys that were there, like the like in terms of top end aerobic guys, like we were all like around the mark. We actually Adam's actually had to adjust the bar a little bit. We all got our like VO2 and zones tested the other day, and I guess he's pleasantly surprised, which is always a great thing, and he's had to actually adjust our zones a little bit and start putting a bit more intensity into our training a bit. We're a bit further ahead than what we were, I guess, a few years ago when last time he got the group tested, which is always great.
That's awesome, man. You'd had a VO2 max test before?
This is my first VO2 max test, but I think Adam's tested some of the group. I think Max has had a couple before. Yeah.
So how does it work?
This is the first time I've been in. Sorry, go on.
Nah, sorry, bro. If I ever cut you, I think there's like a very slight delay. So if I cut you off, you've got the right of way.
Okay.
I was going to ask you, now that you've thrown it back to me and I'm speaking again, I was going to ask you, so it's just on the treadmill. How do they operate that? Like, is it a gradual increase, or are you doing sort of repetitions, or like what's the process of getting your VO2 max?
They work out your running economy and your sub-maximal zones first. So they basically get you on there for 4 minutes at like slowly increasing speeds that aren't too hard, and they test, like, you've got your whole mask set up, so they're measuring how much oxygen you're using versus like how much lactate you're producing and etc. And then once they've got the sub-maximal worked out, then they'll hook you up to the basically it just keeps like it's at 20k an hour, and then they just keep increasing the incline on it. And then the idea behind that is that one's your VO2 max test. That one is basically you just getting to full exhaustion, using as much oxygen as your body gets in, and that's effectively what a VO2 max test is. They're measuring how much oxygen you're using.
So are you all strapped on? Like, because when you say exhaustion, that's I know distance runners have a reputation for being able to push themselves pretty hard. So what happens? You just slide off the back of the treadmill.
Yeah, well, that's literally what happened to me.
No!
A crash mat at the back just in case, and they say give us a thumbs up if you're definitely fine to do another. They do it every 30 seconds. So they say give us a thumbs up if you're definitely fine to do another 30 seconds, and give us a maybe, and we'll kind of be close on the stop button, and you just tell us to stop when you're done. And 30 seconds. I can always do another 30 seconds. So I kept giving the thumbs up, and then on my last one, I gave the thumbs up. The incline happened, and I just started drifting backwards a little bit. And I think before they could work out what was going on, I just couldn't lift my knee high enough, and I just like slid out under it and then up on the crash mat. Yeah.
Dude, that's good. I was going to ask if they had the crash mats all set up at the back.
Yeah, it's all set up. Like it's not uncommon for it to happen. Yeah, and then all the mask and stuff that's on there, like it's all just elastics. It all just falls off. It's not that difficult. Yeah, like I was fine.
Yeah,
I didn't even get any bruises or anything. I went for a 30-minute jog afterwards.
I worked at Joggers World in Adelaide back in 2006 when I was training with Adam, and I remember in like my first month there, I was a questionable employee. Like they probably shouldn't have chosen me. But one of the one parent came in and we're just trying on shoes, and they had a treadmill in like the back right-hand corner of the old building. And anyway, so I'd been trained like, hey, once you're Nicky Mangos, I don't know if he's still around. But I'd been trained to, put the shoes on and then give him a little test run and see how they go. Anyway, I said to this kid, he was probably 12, way too young to be on there by himself. Mate, hey, give these ones a test run. Anyway, as I went out the back to just go find another couple of styles for him, I heard him revving up the treadmill. I was like, oh, surely he's fine. Anyway, mate, I came back out into the main part of the store, and real similar image to you. He was like sort of gradually coming back to the back of the treadmill, and before I knew it, he just completely stacked it and got thrown into the into the wall.
Oh,
And
gee.
mate, it looked terrible on my behalf, but it's one of those ones where you piss yourself laughing, just even though crap, I think I'm going to get fired. It's just so it's like watching someone fall downstairs. You're like, okay, I feel real bad for you, but also you've just made my day.
Yeah, I think it looks worse than what it is too. Like I feel like a treadmill tends to cop a fall pretty well because it's moving, or it keeps you kind of rolling, moving as you fall off it. And especially as like when I did it, I don't know what your case is like, but fortunately when I did it, because the incline's going up too, you don't actually fall that far. Like you're falling up a hill, which isn't
Oh,
too
that's a
bad.
good point.
Yeah, and you fall up a hill and then they push you down a hill, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, man, that's so funny. That's so funny. So, what do you like? What's the aim at the moment? It's what month is it? November. You're getting ready for track season, hopefully. Like it looks like things are going to start to relax if bloody Victoria gets their act together.
Yeah,
'Cause,
I think they're doing. You've got a slightly more progressive approach than us, at least.
oh man, I'm not sure. Don't get me started, bro, because I start getting too grumpy. And I'm sure so many people are sick. Anyone who follows me on Instagram, even myself, I'm like, oh, dude, shut up. Stop. No one cares about your dumb opinion. But yeah, man. Hopefully things are looking up. But what's sort of in the back of your mind at the moment? Obviously, you got races and stuff through South Australia if you need them, but
Yeah.
you're looking at things
So
like Zatopek and stuff if they go ahead.
yeah, so we'll see how I go. I'm probably still fairly unfit. Like we did a fair few array of tests on this day, and I'm probably still, I think out of reckons, I'm probably about 2 months behind the rest of the group still. So I'm very much just hanging on at training. I don't mind though using. I was having a chat to him last night. I don't mind using this period as kind of like a even though I'm not in peak form, I feel like you can still get a lot of race practice out of like rocking up to the start line out of form. You just kind of need to adjust your goals a bit, obviously. So, I'm rocking up to it. I use the example of like, I guess I'm rocking up to a race where I just have to tell myself I'm not really the favorite. And I have to just outrace these guys that usually I just run away from, no worries. And I just I guess it's good practice for if I ever go overseas, I'm going to be in races with guys that are heaps better than me, like maybe steeplers that are, 8:15 guys. And I have to learn to outrace them rather than just outrun them. So it's good practice from that. So that's probably, I guess, the mentality I'm taking to at least anything before Christmas, and maybe the start of January as well. But I guess we'll see how we go. Like, you put all the plans in place to be ready at this point, be ready at that point. And Adam's probably a bit more savvy and all that, and that's obviously why he's the coach. But we'll probably just see how my body's responding in terms of that. So we've got a draft plan of the season and how we want it to go from there. But I think there's a huge race coming up, say like Melbourne 5K that's going to be national. If for whatever reason I'm in absolutely rubbish shape for it, there's probably some races you don't want to rock up to out of format.
Yeah.
So, but then, for example, like I'm doing SA 5K champs in just under 2 weeks, which borders will be open for anyone on the East Coast who wants to come over and get a good race. So borders are open 3 days before that. Last year we ran 13:52 for the win, which I think was the fastest for any state champs in Australia for the 5K. So I'll be racing that, and I probably won't be in potentially PB shape, but I'll be giving it an absolute nudge for the win, no doubt. And have to, I guess, trying to use my wits a bit more than my body.
Man, I love that attitude. I'd never thought of that really, like just adjusting your expectations, because I think it's definitely a skill to develop, like that idea of getting to a start line and really knowing what form you're in and knowing what you're hoping to get out of the race. Because it could just, if you go into that race knowing how fast you run at full fitness, without thinking about what your current fitness level is or your current plan is, it can be super disheartening to have like an up and comer outrun you if you're not going in with the mindset that you've just explained. And I noticed the same thing in the stand-up comedy world. Like, bro, last night I went out to Ballarat, and it's something that if you don't get your head around before you get up on stage, it can be so disheartening. So some rooms you go to, and it's like a full house. There's a great lineup of comedians. People are there. They've paid to see comedy. And if you bring out your new material or your rubbish stuff that you're just out of format, you look like a dickhead, and the audience gets uncomfortable because they're just watching you bomb. But the flip side of that, if you go to a place like where I was at last night, there was 9 people in the audience. It was spread out across like a massive bar. It was just, you go, all right, we're here to try new material. Even if you kill this, even if you have the best night of your life, it's going to sound like you're bombing, because 9 people laughing is fairly quiet. So it's a nice attitude to take in. You don't beat yourself up too much at the end of that. And it also, as you say, like that idea of race practice for a runner's perspective, the idea of actually rocking up there and, as you say, practicing on outrunning these guys, that's an undervalued thing. Like I've been in the sport now for over 20 years and haven't heard people speak about that, like just that taking a level of fitness.
Like, I guess it's relatively a fairly like egotistical sport. Like people kind of rock up a lot of the time for the kind of let everyone know they've arrived and I'm here and I'm going to knock it out of the park and show off how good I am, kind of thing. But I guess if you, block that out and you take a bit more of a personal objective approach to it, and you can find reasons, I guess, of getting something out of the race, then I think it removes all those reasons to only ever rock up super fit. And I think that's quite important too. Like, I mean, again, it's person specific and it's what drives you. But like for me, like I need the race practice, and I can't just rock up in a race every single week with, say, like superstars in the sport. Like, you know, like I can't just rock up and race Morgan McDonald. I can't just rock up and race Pat Tiernan. So some of the toughest racing I might get is when I'm unfit. And so I've kind of got to take advantage of that, really. I see it as an advantage.
That's a great way to look at it. How do you go? Like, how do you actually feel? Is that something that through practice you've been able to get comfortable with, or have you always been pretty happy with the fact that you know that you're not necessarily in top shape right now? So it's not going to be as fast as what you could if you were in top shape.
Yeah, I think I didn't always think like this. Yeah. Like everyone, especially like when you're a young guy, you're massively egotistical. I think most guys are, you know, when they're in their early 20s. You know, they got testosterone pumping and they want to show off, kind of thing. But I think yeah, like, and probably this year it's been easier to do because I've come back into a squad that's firing, like from Tokyo. So I had my 2 weeks quarantine. Came back and like you spend 2 weeks in a room, like how fit are you going to be? So I guess you can either let it, I guess, overcome you and just sit on the sidelines and just, I don't know, do monotonous training, or you can I'm a bit of, I guess, a brainstormer, and I'm always trying to like look at advantages where I can get them. One advantage I kind of thought is like, well, this is a great opportunity to practice my racing. So I basically went back to racing straight away. And I guess, like, for example, I did the 5K here, Fitzy's 5. And I wasn't in great shape. And like, I think like Isaac absolutely belted me in it. So where's up to that? As I said, I did Fitzy's 5. Dan and Max are probably in better shape than me. So I thought the only way I'm going to beat them is I need to like work out some way to, I guess, like test them, read how they're going in the race. And I think if I see kind of any signs of like doubt or anything, take advantage of it as soon as possible. And I guess fortunately I got to take advantage of that. And I think that'll like leave me in really good stead going to tougher races. Like I said, like if I'm in better shape when National 5K comes along, I'll be able to like hopefully like use some of those skills to like read some better runners than me and try and take some bigger scalps there.
Yeah, awesome, man. Awesome. So I'm just thinking it would have been, I wish you had have not answered Nita's phone call as your boss, and then I wouldn't have edited that part out. So I could just show him that you give him the cold shoulder in the name of Relaxed Running Podcast. But you're a better employee than me. Dude, you mentioned briefly the Aura ring that you left next door. I saw it. So John Quinn, who he's like I don't know if you know John Quinn. He's a sprint coach. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I know John Quinn. Yeah.
He's a fan of the Aura ring. He had it on about 12 months ago when I did a podcast with him here in Melbourne, and he was walking me through some of the stats. So is that something that you use on a regular basis to monitor?
I literally picked it up 2 days ago. So I went into SATI to go over like my testing results and do a bit of planning. And one of the things I wanted to start tracking with me specifically was more my sleep and sleep quality. And I mean, I'm not a massive tech guy. I use the tech, but I don't read too much about it. Though the gist of it is basically this is one of the most like accurate tools on the market at the moment for tracking sleep and sleep quality. So I've been wearing it all the time because I'm kind of interested to see the whole global stats behind it all. But yeah, ideally they're actually tracking so they've actually got my login details as well, and they can like kind of track my sleep and report back to Adam, and they can have discussions around like how my training's going and stuff like that, which is all pretty interesting.
Awesome, man. It sounds dangerous though. Hey guys, it's 2 a.m. He's got training tomorrow morning and he's on the dance floor. His heart rate's at 160. So
there's no hiding. There's no hiding anymore, is there?
Yeah, that's right, brother. No, awesome, man. Awesome. So, dude, you touched on the quarantine out of Tokyo. Obviously, Tokyo is something I was keen to pick your brain about. But I'm so fascinated by 2 weeks of quarantine for athletes. Like every time I hear an athlete's just done 2 weeks of quarantine, well, I know it's not just, but I'm fascinated to know how you handled it. Like, did you? So 2 weeks in a room. Did you have a treadmill?
Howard Springs, you couldn't get anything delivered other than food and Big W stuff. So you could get some gym stuff delivered to you from Big W, but I kind of just took advantage of 2 weeks off. I'm probably not one of those guys that is massively like I need exercise in my day to be like emotionally stable. Like I need exercise in my day for my physical health, but I don't need it in my day, I guess, to fulfill some like underlying emotional needs. So I kind of just took advantage of the nice weather up there, and I guess hung out. The first week was good. I kind of spent a lot of time just like reflecting on everything and relaxing. But to be honest, the second week really dragged a bit. So I basically just spent the vast majority of time on the phone to like my friends and family, just I guess just talking about everything, like not even just talking about the Olympics, talking about everything really. It's like kind of anything to pass time. Luckily for me, we had the Olympics on while I was in quarantine. So that kind of gave me something to watch too. But then smashed a bit of Netflix and didn't really achieve anything I went in to achieve.
It sounds like a good recovery period. So what was the name of the place you were staying at?
We were in Howard Springs.
Okay.
So I think that's the only true like proper setup quarantine facility in Australia. Yeah, which is, to be honest, it's a really good setup, and I think the rest of Australia probably should have taken notes in how they did it in the early stages when like we didn't have a more appropriate way of like safety other than quarantine when you came in. Like they haven't had any leaks or anything, and it made a lot of sense what they were doing. Just on the flip side, it was just really tough being the person that is quarantining in there.
Yeah. So are you like with the way that's set up, are you as a bloke who's just returned, like so you're still stuck in a room, or are you allowed out and about with the people that you've traveled with?
Nah. So you're meant to limit how much, I guess, time you spend with people. So you've got your own kind of cabin. So they're similar. I don't know if you've been in one, like a mining cabin kind of thing. I think
I know what you're talking about. I know the look of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So they've got a bed, bathroom, and desks with a small balcony. And they're all kind of next to each other. They're all like those like temporary building type vibes with the tin walls and all that. So there's a red line that's basically like, this is my side and that's your side. So you can still chat to people on the balcony. You just can't go hang out with them. One, I guess, loophole that everyone took advantage of was you're allowed to leave your balcony to do laundry. So people were doing laundry every day, sometimes twice a day.
Yeah, that's unheard of. That's unheard of. You should see my laundry pile. Oh man, yeah, far out. So dude, walk us through. I know this is something I was having a chat with Jess about the other day, and I was just enjoying it as a fan of running, just watching the random attempts that you were having to crack this Olympic qualifying time over the steeple. You've changed my perspective on how fast you can run solo. That's for sure. It was nice to be able to see you getting out and having a crack, because like the idea mentally, well, I don't know if this is true for you, but for me, I always used to love lining up in a big race with some, really highly competitive blokes, hopefully slightly faster than me, to drag me around and run a real fast time. But you didn't have the luxury. The qualification period was running out, and you were just throwing what's the thing? What do you say? Throwing something to the wind. You know the expression I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Don't worry about filling it in. You were having a bloody crack though.
Yeah.
So walk us through that sort of, what was it, like a month and a half kind of period where you were just throwing Hail Marys?
Yeah, basically. So we went, I guess we finished nationals, and initially my points looked fairly good after nationals. I said like 30th. So I was like, oh, I mean, the window's been open for ages. Like, how many new people are just going to come out of nowhere and jump me? Um, and boy, very quickly they jumped me. So I was out of the qualifying pretty quick. And I guess we worked out with points. I probably had to run virtually the qualifier anyway, which is, I guess, effectively what I did anyway. So we went up there. I actually got really sick right before I went away. So I was in hospital actually, and we couldn't actually work out what was wrong. I had like extreme like just abdominal pains, and I was handling it all like fine. And the only thing we can really put it down to is some kind of like stress trigger causing some like gastrointestinal, I guess, malfunction. Like we like that, like I got every scan under the sun. I went to ED, got an endoscopy, everything was fine. But like I remember sitting in ED being like, I'm in like 9 out of 10 pain. Like I can't function at the moment. So that all happened 2 days before my first race in Gold Coast. And probably as expected, that race didn't go too well. I ran 8:43. And then basically blew off some steam, put my head down and said, you kind of just have to, I guess, lure yourself into this psyche of just like you're someone you're not, in the sense that I guess objectively my PB at the time was 8:32, and the start of the season my PB was 8:38. So I'd run I did a fairly good season. I'd run 6.5 seconds PB so far, but I needed another 10, and I had 2 races, and I had just my pacemaker maxi. And I think you just have to like just will yourself into believing you're someone you're not, and until I guess basically like fake it till you make it, right?
Man.
And it's funny actually, because then when the first one when I ran that 8:22.6, I actually had like looking back at it, like it was a phenomenal run. It was a 10-second PB, knocked it out of the park. I had only Maxi pace. I mean, to be fair, Maxi did a bloody awesome job, and I am so thankful. I'm not probably ever going to find a better pacemaker than Maxi. Like to be told that the 2017 national champion is giving up his own Olympic aspirations to go pace you is, I don't think I'm ever going to get a better opportunity than that.
That's
ever.
insane.
So, to be fair, he did a great job. But at the same time too, I kind of had to rise and be someone I wasn't. And at the time, even though I ran this amazing run, me, Adam, who was up there as well, Max, and my girlfriend Annie, we went out for dinner afterwards, and I was just shattered. I was down in the dumps, feeling awful, and because like I just missed a qualifier by 0.6.
Oh, so it's 8:22 flat was the time you needed.
8:22 flat, or an 8:22.62 was my first one. And I was chatting to Jared Clifford the next day, or maybe it was that night or the next day, and he goes to me, do you reckon you almost would have been happier if you ran 8:25? And the funny thing is, I probably would have been happier at the time running 8:25, because like there was no initial crushed feeling of missing it by nothing. Like 0.6 is virtually probably it's like one person length really. And I really jinxed myself at that point, because then when I had another crack a week later, I missed it by 0.13.
That's so sad.
And again, like
that's frustrating.
Yeah, and the front ending as well, like it was raining. Asics had given me a prototype spike. I hadn't even had my size yet, so I'm squeezing into a shoe that's the same size as Max, who's a full size smaller than me. So I'm in a shoe that doesn't fit. I'm in a raining environment, and there's no one else really pushing me in the last K. So to miss it by that much with all those factors really, I think, killed me a bit. I was so gutted, and I went back to Adelaide, gave it another nudge. Adam was like, we can put a race on for you. He's like, I don't recommend you do it. I don't think there's any hurry. And to his credit, he was right. I missed it by heaps. But I think if I hadn't made it and hadn't done that race, I don't think I would have been able to, I guess, like be comfortable with my decision. So from a psychological point of view, I had to do it just to kind of, leave no stone unturned. But luckily, yeah, luck went my way. Even though I finished 46th and missed out, Athletics Australia were kind enough to extend the window in case someone was to pull out, which we heard there were rumours there might be, and that did happen. They rushed the paperwork through and they were able to get me in. So it was really like just elation at the end of it all, especially when you're pretty convinced that you're not in there. I got an email saying like, your nomination for the Olympics has not gone through. We had to like Ben Buckingham and Ed Trippers for making the steeplechase team.
Oh,
And like, so we had to like, it was actually like Adam was probably more the one that was, I guess got me to do. I was just down in the dumps at that point, so I needed someone to kind of like, this is how you do life right now, kind of thing.
he's been good like, for that with me as well over the years.
Yeah. He's good like that. Yeah,
he's great at it. Yeah, he's very good.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I needed. Is like, look, we need to contact Athletics Australia and tell them there's a chance that there's another way in, and see if they'll extend the window for us. And they were great with it. They did that and gave me the opportunity that if they hadn't, they would have just run 40. Well, they ran 44, but they would have run 43 at the Olympics, and I would have missed out. On my spot.
So what was it with all of that said, it was because did one of those athletes not end up going? So I don't really fully understand the qualification process.
Yeah, so and I guess it's the part that's not really advertised because it's all the technical element part at this point. So basically they have the black and white qualifying bit that everyone knows about is that there's a time you hit, you go. Mm-hmm. Presuming you're top ranked in your country and your country nominates you, and then they fill the remaining spots down to 45 if 45 athletes haven't got it. Now I finished 46th, but there was a British athlete that didn't get selected.
Yes,
which means I should be 45th. The tricky part was that he protested, so which is fair enough. Like if I had qualified for the Olympics myself and my country said no, we're not only not sending someone else, we're just not sending you at all, full stop. I'd probably do the same. I'd want to chase my dream with everything I could. But the thing is, with him putting in the protest, is that Great Britain couldn't withdraw him from the list. Yeah, so he's in at this point, and World Athletics have basically said to Great Britain, "Are you going to nominate him?" And they said, no, we're not going to nominate him. So he's protested this. And because he's protested it, Great Britain can't withdraw him, because if they withdraw him and his protest goes through, they can't put him back in. So they have to wait for his protest to get denied before they can take him off the list, which then would make me 45th. So that went through eventually, but it went through with like hours to spare. So then fortunately, Great Britain put the paperwork through, and then Athletics Australia were like amazing, and then like rushing my paperwork through and getting it all done with, like, as I said, like literally hours to spare. So I was pretty fortunate from that. And I think it was one of the cool things about the games, actually, well, qualifying for the games, is that like I was convinced that I wasn't going. Like I was like, I'm not going, this is it, this sucks. And I'd actually contacted Jared Clifford, and I couldn't get on the boat. I told Philo, I said, hey mate, I just got the news, I didn't get picked. So if you need me for the Paralympics, let me know. So I'm around now. But then I guess I had the awkward chat with him a week later and called him up and said, hey, sorry, I can't do it anymore. I'm going to the Olympics.
Mate, yeah, what a great conversation to have. That's so it must be a crazy experience, man. Like I often used to think about just what that would feel like to be named on the team, and I guess just insert all the cliches. Is it just a crazy experience of? Yeah,
it's just surreal. Like, I mean, I've tried my best to describe it a lot, but I just can't really. Like, it's like I just feel like I'm a dog chasing a truck and then I catch it. It's like, what do you do now? Like, I'm a dog, I've got a truck. Like, it's just it's surreal. It's overwhelming. It's amazing. It's everything in between. Like, it's just like, yeah, I couldn't believe it. And it was a massive contrast to what most people in the team probably experienced. I remember chatting to Raino and I was like, how does it feel when like they announced you in the team? He goes, I don't know. It's just a procedural thing. I already knew I was going.
Yeah.
Like it's so different. Like once the window closes for them, and they're like, well, there's only three of us with it, I'm going. Whereas
Yeah, man.
for me, it's almost like the window closing, I got told I'm not going, and then all of a sudden I am going. It's pretty amazing. I mean, it's probably something that hindered my performance on the day because, like, one, I had that race that I didn't really need to chase it in the end. That hurt me a fair bit. Two, emotionally, you're just all over the place. And three, you've got to pick yourself up out of that and then get yourself ready to race in the highest pressure setting that you've ever been in your life through COVID, and you've only got 3.5 weeks to do it. That was the first event. So I couldn't even see really anyone else compete before me and be like, okay, well, this is what it's like out there. I was the first event of the program. So I was like, this is it. Got to do it. Got to pull myself together, and that probably hurt me a little bit in the end. Like I think I'm getting better at the whole psychology stuff, but that probably tested my limits a little bit.
Man, I can imagine. What a crazy experience. So is it pretty much you fly over to Tokyo, you pack your bags in? Are you allowed out for your easy run, or like what's the structure around training and stuff?
So we basically what do we do? So so when we did Cairns for training camp before, and that was fine. And then we went to Tokyo, and we're in the village the whole time. The village is like a whole suburb. It's huge.
Oh, sweet.
So we just did all our running, or we did all our jogging around the village. And then for track specific stuff, they got buses. So we just went to the track. I actually smashed a hurdle 2 days before my race. I went into full panic mode. That's another good reason about having Didic around me telling me how to do life. So I was into full panic mode. It just wasn't that bad. Like I was like, I'm gonna have a huge bruise. I need ice, anti-inflammatories. I need it all now. Like give it to me now. It's like you need to chill out and go for a run. Like just go for your warm down. And I was like, I came back and I was just like, oh, thank you for telling me to do that. I was losing it. Yeah.
Man, what a roller coaster. Did they have those cardboard beds? I remember seeing one of the Kenyan athletes making jokes about how the Olympic, what do you say? What is it? The Olympic Village is usually like a big romp fest where the beds are just clearly not going to hold up. So what were the
our beds are fine. I mean, I obviously I was only there for like a week, and obviously take advantage of my girlfriend, and they were but I mean they were pretty sturdy. Like I saw there's like TikTok of the New Zealand, I think rugby 17, like 2 of them jump on the bed, and then 4 of them jump on the bed, then 8 of them, and then there's like the whole bed is filled with people jumping up and down on it, and the bed held up fine. Like I had no issues with it.
Okay.
Yeah. So it wasn't like I think they overplayed. Apparently they were gonna have beds like that originally anyway. It was like a recycling sustainability thing, and then after COVID hit, then everyone was like, oh, they're doing it to prevent like people sleeping together and COVID risks, and it wasn't true at all.
Okay.
They just made it as like a recycling sustainability thing, which I think was a nonsense thing.
Dude, that's so strange. It's not like the media at all, just to make a story that's completely untrue, a headline. That's I've been sucker punched by them. But hey, dude, I want to keep talking to you, but as you know, we've had the internet cut out twice now on my end. I've got to speak to NBN. So, dude, I know you've been on twice now, but let's catch up sooner than what that break was, because I always enjoy talking to you, man. It's just an easy conversation, and I wanted to pick your brains a little bit just about what's been going on, but also hear a bit about that story. So I feel like I'm cutting it short, unfortunately, but I'm also nervous that we're going to get halfway through a story and then it's going to cut out again. So we'll
that's all right.
I'll get my editing.
You can leave it for next time.
Yeah, bloody oath. Nah, but thanks for coming on, man. It's great to catch up again. Good to see your good looking face.
Oh, cheers, mate. Good to see yours too.
All right, brother. I'll cut it off there. But dude, that was great. Thanks, man. Sorry, I sort of had to cut it off a bit sooner than I wanted to. I'm nervous this thing's going to cut out again. I have no idea what's going on.
All right. I mean, it's gone for about an hour anyway. Like, no one wants to listen too long to it. No one wants to listen to my boring monotony voice for too long.
Oh, anyway, you'd be surprised.
Probably better doing it in short chunks.
Dude, you'll be surprised. People are going to love it. People are going to love it, especially these stories, because I feel like it's a bit of a feel-good story. I reckon your name's attached to that. Like, anyone, especially in the running scene, people who know your story, it'd be cool for them to get a bit
that was one of the really cool things is that like leading in to like me getting named, it was pretty amazing seeing all the support on like Athletes Australia and stuff I was getting, and then obviously after I got named, like your phone just goes off the hook. So that was pretty cool too to see that so many people actually cared about me kind of thing.
Yeah, man. Bloody oath. Bloody oath. What a crazy ride. But
Mm.
that's cool. And it's cool as well. What the fact it was delayed, you're only like 2.5 years away from your next one?
Yeah, it's only three. I mean, it was 3 year wait from when we finished, I guess. So
Yeah.
it's about 2.5 to go, which makes it a bit more mentally easier to aim for, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's cool. All right, brother. Well, I'll let you go. But man, I'll try and get my editing skills on and maybe get up tomorrow.
All right. Cheers, mate. Sounds
All
good.
right, brother. Thanks again, man.